Okay, I want Pam Bondi fired. I want Pam Bondi fired.
It's escalated quickly.
Yeah, well, no, and here's why. Do you release a tape that is supposed to be the evidence? Do you release a tape and then let the public find out for themselves that there's an edit in the tape?
That's a inexcusable mistake. I mean, I don't know that she did it, right? I guess.
And you know what?
Right.
It could have been just a digital jump in the tape. It's a minute lost. Okay, so let's just give them every benefit of the doubt and say it was just a digital jump in the tape. Okay. Do you not put an intern on it just to say, watch the clock and make sure there's no jumps or edit in the tape? Because we know
everyone's going to watch.
300 million people are going to be watching it, and somebody's going to take the time to watch the clock. So watch the clock. Right. Is every minute accounted for? You didn't do that.
I think you could pretty easily say that if you wanted to, right, and your goal was you wanted to edit out a minute, it would be very easy to edit in a minute of footage.
Correct.
That no one would notice. Just make the clock continuous, right? It would be clear. If you were trying to cover that, it would be easy to cover.
Yeah.
However,
is incompetence. This is incompetence.
Highlighting your point to incompetence. At the very least, if you have a jump,
you admit it.
You say at the beginning,
yes,
there is an error at this point. We know this is there. The fact that you release it as proof without acknowledging that minute is, I just don't understand how you could make a mistake like that when your goal here is supposedly to put everyone's mind at ease. Right? I don't know. But there's more to it than that.
But hang on just a sec. Let me just go back before we leave just this one. Remember when I said yesterday, your wife finds receipts for you buying presents at Tiffany's that she never got, that, you were at a hotel that she's never been to, you were not coming home for dinner, you had long weekends and everything else. It doesn't mean you were cheating.
You could be a traveling jewelry investor.
Right. But she should demand the evidence, because you don't want that hanging there on your relationship. It will just fester. Now you give her the evidence, but then she finds out that, it's the wrong receipt. It was a receipt, that you explained away, but what you used as proof was not the same receipt. You were like, no, see, honey, this is when we went to the hotel together. And she looks at it and she's like, oh, okay. And then she has it for a while, and she looks at it, and she's like, wait a minute, the date is different on this one. This is not the same receipt. That's a problem. And it doesn't mean that he was cheating on you. It just means, what the hell is going on? Are you this stupid?
And it certainly would make you have legitimate questions about the situation.
It just makes you question things more. Now, if it wasn't for the jump in the tape, and I'm not even going to call it an edit, because I don't think it was an edit. I think it was a jump in the tape. Is if the jump in the tape wasn't incompetent enough for you, listen to this one. Jason is here with us. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Glenn. What a morning. Wow.
What a morning it is. Okay, so, Jason, what else have you found?
Okay, so the more and more we looked at this tape, I started looking. It was just weird because it looked like a janitor's closet. So door 46.
With a janitor's closet.
And you were like, shut up. This is not a janitor's closet. I don't know what this is. Well, I was like, I can tell you there's a woman that looks like a janitor that comes out of supposedly the person, there's this cell that they're saying is his cell, which they're not, by the way. This was like people on social media were saying this was the cell. Is coming out with a trash can. So I looked around to see if there was any confirmation on what this cell was. And I found an OIG report from the Justice Department 2 years ago that shows the camera angle and the one camera that was actually working. So you can see the diagram, and I think we actually have it if you're watching this right now. There's a diagram that shows where this camera is. It shows where Epstein's cell is. And the big thing that stands out, Glenn, is this camera doesn't even have eyes on Epstein's cell at all. Like, not at all.
That's incredible.
4 different wings here There is a service wing, and that's what we're looking at with that door 46. That's like a service entrance or staff entrance. Now, you can't see on the lower level Epstein cell at all. So this is what makes it look even crazier for that 1 minute that's missing. And I will say that, let me just say it this way. I've spent years and years and years looking at surveillance and security camera footage, as you know, in my previous job. I've never seen an over 1 minute jump right at a time that would be very, very, I don't know, just convenient. I've never seen that before in all my years looking at these things.
There's no reason. Why do you say that minute would be convenient? You're just saying that 1 minute being gone is convenient. You're not saying that particular minute is convenient. Is important.
In this entire time frame based off of this camera angle. So it's convenient, like, let's say 60 seconds would be great for someone walking across that lower level. 60 seconds would be perfect for if you wanted to like conceal the fact that someone walked across that area. That's why it would be convenient.
Here's why I didn't buy into this at first. Okay, 60 seconds to get in and open the door and then kill him and then leave. Okay, but look at the diagram. If you look at the diagram where the camera is, there is maybe a foot space where the camera is not able to see where there is a door from the staff area. Okay?
Are you looking at, because I think it's hard to tell from this, are we looking at, is this diagram the top floor or the bottom floor? Jason, do you have any idea?
So it looks like Epstein. So I think Epstein cells is on the same, right? On the top floor. Yeah. So the stairs would be.
These are the upper floors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at where the staff area is. Okay. Mm-hmm. See the yellow triangle.
Yes.
And the red box where it's his cell. Okay. So there is one way out of the staff area, and it's right below the camera.
Like underneath the floor, essentially, of where the camera is.
Yeah, on the floor. If the camera's up on a ceiling, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the camera's the camera is
from above,
from
on the
second
ceiling.
Floor, shooting down, and you can what the evidence that they're basically proclaiming here, and this is true. You know what Jason's saying is true, that you can't see the door of the Epstein cell. What you can see is a common area that, in theory, you would need to cross to get to the cell. What you're saying, Glenn, is the camera doesn't actually show 100% of the potential paths to get there, right?
Doesn't.
Like you could if you cross right in front of the banister here on the bottom floor, there's no way you're going
to see.
Right.
Okay, so wait a minute. I just want to make sure. We are talking about the same thing. If you look at the videotape, it's the white room downstairs, right? So it's where the garbage can is down there.
Below
so
that.
Epstein's room would be below the garbage can.
No, the Epstein's room, if you look out, the area that you can see, and I apologize for radio listeners here that aren't seeing this visual, but I want to make sure we get this right. There's an open area where the banister is like and it shows the common area behind it, right?
Okay.
If you go to the right side of the common area from our view, outside of the view to the right is where the entrance to the cell is, the stairs up to the cell.
So all you have to do, you don't have to cross the floor. Why do you have to cross the floor?
You could stay close to that wall.
You can go through the door. You can go through the door and see and just stay against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe, and Jason, maybe you know this, maybe it's explained somewhere else in the report, but like, is it possible that they're saying all the other entrances, like to get to that area, have cameras, and so they didn't see anybody walking into those areas? If that were true, of course you should release them.
Then why wouldn't you show the other?
Right. I mean,
this is not proof that anybody did anything.
No.
This is proof they are absent. Pam Bondi needs to be fired. Who is rolling this out? The little rascals? Panky. Look, I got some videotape. What are you doing? This is ridiculous. This is such absolute incompetence. Incompetence.
It's incredible. The fact that like they would release that, because I think everyone had the same assumption. I think even Jason, as a super duper skeptic on this, even you had the assumption that what they were saying was the green doors were the cells, or at least to the cell area.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's what everyone, I think, thought when they saw it. Now, to be clear, like the report, as you point out, Jason, previously had stated and shown this diagram that shows that they're talking about the common area. So that's not like it's... But like they should have been very clear about that. What we're talking about is the common area, right? They should have put that in the announcement.
Stu, we are going upstairs. We're going upstairs today. Okay, to my house. And, I have that balcony upstairs by the fireplace. You haven't really seen the house. You came in. Stu arrived here like at midnight last night because it's like a day's journey from anywhere.
Right.
But we're going to go upstairs, and you put a camera, down into the great room.
You want to recreate the Epstein video in your house?
I do. And I want to show you. I can get to places in the room because there's a whole floor. The balcony shows part, but it doesn't show the door. I'll wait until I got to prove that we're going to do this live on YouTube or something on maybe on X today, as soon as we get off the air, because this is ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. Again, it doesn't prove that this he was killed. However, it is the fact that they're releasing a video that has this many holes in it to a passing. Again, the person you're trying to make feel better about all of this is someone very interested in the detail of it, right? It's not someone who has a passing interest. You're not releasing this to some person who kind of knows who Jeffrey Epstein is. This is intentionally designed to try to push down what you're arguing is a conspiracy theory.
You're also, and you know what? I'm not arguing anything. I'm arguing this is incompetence.
Yes.
I'm not arguing that he killed himself or he didn't kill him. I don't know. But this isn't helping. Not only are you saying, that these people have some interest in it. Well, these people are, interested in the details. No. You're releasing it to a bunch of people who many of them have the details, but many of them are hostile to what you're saying. So you better have a buttoned up case. You better not have anything that they find out later. Wait a minute. What?
Right. And it could be, you could make the couple of arguments that you probably could make here. One, they don't actually care about this and they're annoyed they have to deal with it, so they just threw it out there. Terrible incompetence, and if that's the truth, it's just inexcusable. The other thing they might argue, and this could be part of it, part of the rollout, there were reports at least that this got leaked, that this came out essentially earlier than they wanted it to come out. And so the rollout was not as well planned as they thought it was going to be. Axios reported this exclusively. Now, it's possible, right, that they leaked it to Axios, but it's not exactly a typical location of a Trump leak.
The Justice Department or the FBI? That's what I want to know. First of all, this administration has no leaks. We just bombed Iran without any leaks.
Yeah, different wing of the government. Yeah. But still, I get what you're saying. Yeah. They've been right. A lot of this has been tight, but there does seem to be, there's a lot of big personalities. There's always reported squabbling going on. Who knows how this was released and who did it? I mean, and that it may be true that part of the rollout was hurt, right? Because it was released before they were ready or something. That might be true. It still doesn't really explain. I mean, the video's the video. They definitely posted it.
Yeah,
they posted it like that. They posted it. They had a memo that explained what the video was and did not mention any of that. Any of the issues we're talking about.
That's all you had to do. Hey, there's a 1-minute jump. Here's why it's there.
But again, even with that explanation, which would make me happier, right? That they were at least available.
Look, you're not.
It still wouldn't make you a person who believes in this theory.
Right. I can tell you for a fact, nothing is going to satisfy everyone.
Right.
Okay. But you at least have to try to make the easy things go away.